From the block to the boardroom, listening close. They're spilling all the secrets, the highs and the lows. HR blunders, they'll laugh, they'll inspire. Two sisters on fire, lifting the empire.
All right, welcome back to another episode of HR Blunders. How are you, Jazz, the life engineer?
I'm great. I'm
Awesome,
great.
awesome. Well, I am excited for tonight's episode because it almost slipped by me. But why don't you introduce the topic for tonight, what we're going to discuss?
Yeah, we're talking about the American workforce and how they can protect themselves against AI. So,
All right, very good. Very
yep,
good. That's a good
yep,
one.
how
And
they-
then
yep,
across the screen, guys, if you also see our email address, we have it there. So you guys also can send questions like in between shows if there's topics you want us to discuss. But I think this is a great one to discuss. I think
absolutely.
first and foremost, I want to encourage a personal PSA. First of all, try if you have a job, keep your job. Okay. That's first and foremost. See what you need to do to keep your job. And remember, look, nobody is bigger than the program. I think some folks are forgetting that. First of all, you need to realize and figure out what program you're on. And then just know
Yep.
that you're not bigger. And as tough as you might think it is, and trying, make sure that you listen to last week's episode where I think Jasmine gave some great insights and advice around, just kind of getting yourself out there, intermingling, and things like that. I almost feel like this is kind of like just a continuation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
You
so
know,
true.
keep you guys gainfully employed and hopefully on a trajectory to have a thriving career.
Yes, absolutely. That's always the goal.
Yeah. And I think with everything that we discuss, it can be applied whether or not you're in the workforce or
Right.
if you're a business owner,
So
entrepreneur.
true.
That many of the topics we discuss, even tonight as we get into it, I think we'll find some things that will be applicable.
Yep, I
All right.
agree. Yeah, so with this topic, one of the big things, my son and I discuss this a lot. And one thing I've taught him was our generation had to be recession proof. That's what we were taught, to be recession proof. But I've
Mhm.
always taught him that his generation had to learn to be automation proof, right?
Mm.
And um, so that's something that he's growing up listening to all the time. Well, it's to a point now we all have to be automation proof, right? It's not just Gen
Mhm.
Z, it's all of us, right? So the thought process what do we need to do to become automation proof? So thinking about that, what skills at this moment uh, are things that are not automatable, not that can't be affected by automation, and that's going to continue to change as AI gets smarter and smarter. But for today, what skills,
Yeah.
right? What skills are those?
And
So right
it's getting
now,
smarter.
huh?
It's getting smarter and smarter by the minute.
Absolutely, it will continue to do that. So what you're wanting to do is, as we talk about a lot, is continue to develop a solution-based thinking mindset, right? Instead of a problem-based thinking mindset. Continue to develop your critical thinking skills. That's something that's going to help with being automation proof as well. And then um, on the same thing with developing your critical thinking skills, your mindset, having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset, um, right? And that's still along with that solution based thinking. Those are all things that are going to help develop you to be more automation proof. The things are, how can we protect ourselves against AI? We're going to learn to use AI to better our lives every day and become efficient at using AI to make smarter decisions, to make better calculated risk
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot, right? And we're going to use that in our decision making process, and that's going to help to make us more efficient, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to be scared of AI,
Yeah.
right? We're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be afraid. And that's where this topic kind of came from. I had a coworker that was telling me he was kind of frustrated with his wife because she's upset and terrified that their son won't be able to find work because AI will take all of the jobs. And he said he told her, I mean, why worry about something you can't control? And I thought, wow. I said, well, it is something that you can control because you can start to teach your son to have a
Mm-hmm.
mindset today that will make him automation proof. So
Yeah.
there's tools and steps and things they can be doing, right,
Mm-hmm.
to help prepare their child to be automation proof. But it really gave me a thought that that's how a lot of people feel, is just kind of helpless with this, right?
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they
Okay.
feel like it's nothing that they can do to protect themselves.
So, okay. So in that instance, because again, like I have a little bit of, I'm inquisitive and want to understand the psychology around things.
Yeah.
So when he said, why worry about something you can't control? How does he expect his son to be able to live and to survive? Like,
Well,
what
I think
process?
that I think the issue is, again, when you're rooted in a in problem-based thinking versus solution-based thinking, you start to think that life is just happening to you, and it's nothing that you can do about that to prepare. I think that's the challenge. So many people think life is just happening to them and they're just being reactive instead of proactive.
Oh,
And that's, yeah. And I think
so
when
he
you are, oh, go ahead.
he was gonna not have a livelihood and be able to survive.
Well, I think that when you are rooted in being proactive with your life, it's just really hard for you to understand people that are reactive and just continue to react to life over and over again, all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how many people live their life, is in, reaction mode. They're not pre-planning, they're not proactive, they're not intentional about their lives, and they don't feel honestly that they can will their life into existence. I think, and a lot of people feel that way. But when you know that you can will the life that you want into existence by your attitudes, behaviors, actions, habits, right, daily habits, then you think differently about, what your
Mhm.
opportunities in life. And I think that's the difference.
No, definitely, definitely, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think
And
that, yeah, I guess I don't. I wonder what the whole apprehension is for people. Because again, I'm a proponent of AI
me
technology.
too.
I love it. I love
Me
chat.
too.
I love the other tools that I use. Um, Again, it's helped me cut tremendous cost,
Yeah.
but at the same time, while
Time and everything.
failing the look and feel of the products that I produce, even this video, right? Again, these things are created using AI technology,
Right.
and at a fraction of the cost if we were to
Hmm.
go out and bring in some big marketing firm and have them, do these things. And
Yeah.
I see a gap in the business world again with some of these functional areas like the marketing, where some of the individuals have not caught up because they're not embracing the AI technology. And so they're trying to sell you things that it's like, I can do that myself. Like I do that laying in bed, look, you know,
Yeah.
in 10, 15 minutes. And so I don't need to pay you like a few grand a month to do these things. And
Right.
so, um, yeah, I guess I don't understand the apprehension versus running toward it, because
Yeah.
anything that makes your life easier and better and helps you excel at a much better level, like I don't understand that.
Well, I think people are, fearful, in itself of just, anything that's unknown. I mean, that causes fear in many people. I think that that's a fundamental thought process that you just stated, that it will make your life better. That's your fundamental thought process about AI, and it's just not a lot of people's
Yeah.
fundamental thought process is that it will make their life better.
And I think one way maybe to get around it is like engaging with it, with the technology, not even from a business or work standpoint, but from a general life fun standpoint.
Hmm.
I have had it create um, nutrition, like pull nutrition data for me, because I'm on this health journey. And, I wanted to really get into my macros and things like that. And
Right. Hmm.
again, like there was this lady, there's some controversy on TikTok, because this lady, I wish I could remember her name because I would so say it, but she, for the last couple of years, she has been like, she's had this class that she's been marketing to people for $200
Hmm.
to teach them about their macros so they can get healthy and lose weight. And they have found out, again, with technology, you can dig and find anything out. But the whole time, this lady, well, not the whole time, but at least for the last year and a half or so, she has been on a GLP-1,
Oh,
and these
wow.
are cutting her up, honey, because you have been using a medication to aid you in
Oh, wow.
selling and having people buy your $200 course and this is where the issue is, under the guise
That
that
it'll give you the GLP-1 results, right?
yes, yes, right, instead of leaning into like, oh, this wonderful technology, look at what science is today, it's helping me with
And if you add this nutrition plan with it, right?
so people feel deceived, especially I
Oh,
think the
yeah.
ones that paid the $200. um And so, like I said,
Oh, wow.
it's controversial over there. TikTok is something else. But,
Dang.
yeah, but I guess I share that to say, had some of those folks leaned into AI, they could have got their own macros information.
Yeah, yeah. I've had it help with macros, with workout plans,
Yeah.
the whole nine. It'll put together personal development plans, for the type of books that you need to read, for the goals that you want to do, all kind of fundamental strategies. I use it a lot uh, to recap books and give me
Okay.
key takeaways. And
No,
that's how I
that is,
can get through a lot of information a lot faster.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I use it for that as well. And that
I,
helps me.
I do know there are some organizations, though, that are still telling their people not to use
Yeah,
AI. But that again, so that's why I say starting with something fun for your personal life. But
yeah,
that does not negate you from being able to learn the technology on your own time
yeah.
in your regular life, right? Because you want to upskill yourself. Because there are companies that are, you can just simply go to like ChatGPT's page and they have the enterprise section. If you go into the enterprise section, you're going to see the larger corporations that actually have purchase plans for their employees. And so
Right.
they begin to implement it and use it within their technology as a resource. And I
Hmm.
guarantee, like honestly, especially like people, if you're a trader and things and you're into like the financial world, like note those companies, and I would challenge you to go and chart them and save the charts, because it'll be interesting to take a look at, like over the last year, how if there is a correlation with how their stock has risen since they've been using ChatGPT and maybe even for look, I'm giving financial
Yeah,
investment
yeah, that's
or
yeah,
even
that's a good point.
forecast,
You
you
know,
know,
is it allowing them,
like
higher profit margin, more efficiency, et cetera? Yeah.
if you see that,
Due to them, yeah,
you might want to,
adding that additional technology in. Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. Yep.
invest, and
Yep.
so um, I'm just saying, but yeah, like I heard someone share that with me that their company has forbid them to use it. But also, like, so I took it like the way the person presented it. It's almost like they were also so they forbid themselves even in their personal life from using it. I'm like, you actually need to learn this. You need to know how to utilize this. Just to make you even more efficient in life in general. You know, and so like even
Yep.
travel, there's so much you can use it for.
I agree. But I think it's understanding for people to understand what skills can help them um, to be, to function with AI, and also to get, new job opportunities with that. The number one is learning the technology, learning how to use the technology to help you make better decisions, think more critically, things like that. Um, the other thing that you can develop is, your emotional intelligence, and learn to work to develop that more, because as AI comes in and things like that, you know
Hmm.
roles that need, more emotional intelligence will become, in higher demand.
Hmm.
um a great example, not so much just with the emotional intelligence, but just the other skills, the soft skills that you need to be learning to become automation proof, is one key thing is project management, because that's something for now is going to still be around no matter, with AI. We're using AI tools
Hmm.
again to help us to make better decisions. But the bottom line is, AI gives us, we have a project, software is 3 months behind schedule. Okay, per our AI prompt, they're telling us that the software is 3 months behind schedule. Okay, well, as the project manager, I've run 100 of these projects before. Software is always late, and I know that if I run 2 shifts in software for at least 1 month, I could catch up and get out of that 3 month delay. Well, that's my thinking
Hmm.
from past projects
Hmm.
and leveraging lessons learned, etc., and my own inherent knowledge, right? But you're
Yeah.
using the AI tools to kind of develop your critical path on the schedule and da da da. And to, you may use the AI tools to identify that the software is the critical path, right?
Hmm.
But you may not agree with what AI says. AI says, really all AI is saying is if you keep the same trajectory, you're 3 months behind.
Hmm.
But then that's when we can start to use our critical thinking skills and say, how can we mitigate this risk of 3 months behind? What
Yeah.
can we do? We can add 2 shifts. We can, borrow five other software engineers from this other team that's slowing down, right?
Hmm.
That's, that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it's going to be, again, that's solution based thinking, right?
No.
Not, oh, we've got a problem and we're 3 months behind schedule. Oh well, right?
Hmm.
That's not going to work.
Yeah, that's not a solution. But I think even the project management alone, even without the AI, because I have become aware again, like I've been, you know, taken outside my bubble and rushed back in. But apparently, like, I guess, in our world, right, project management just was a given. Like you had, if you wanted to be successful. But I'm learning that not everybody has project management skills.
Yeah, that's true.
It is to run a project.
Yeah.
And again, and that's many different faucets, right? You can't just. I have seen it repeatedly, and It's even helped me um, to because sometimes I get hard headed. When I know God is telling me to do something or shut something down. But it even has prompted me to end some offerings that we had,
Mm.
especially with our VA services, like our lower tier.
Okay.
We no longer do that because I've recognized that not everyone has basic project management skills. And so that becomes an issue, right? Because you can't just hire someone. And I see this with a lot of business owners who don't have the project management skills. You can't just hire someone, throw them 50 tasks,
Yeah.
and never talk to them for a week or two
Oh wow.
and for the best and think like things are going to run smoothly, right? Like, you know yourself, like you have to be on top of things and you have to be on top of people. And I don't care if that is, that has been regardless of, like, even if I've had construction projects going on, you have to show up. Like sometimes you have to show up unannounced and you're not dressed for the occasion. Because I will walk through a construction site if I have work going on at a house, honey. I will be there in heels. Oh, we didn't know you were coming. Oh, Miss Frazier. If I know, because I need
Mhm.
to see the truth. Like I don't want you to. I don't need you to get prepared because oh, she's going to be here at 4 because she wants me to walk her through and see where the status.
Mhm.
Hmm. No, because I need to see what's going on because I'm gonna ask why is that right there? I thought that was supposed to be done last week. Why is
Yeah.
and
That's
then
it.
on top of things so people know and understand the expectations. Same thing in the business world, right? As you're
Yeah.
given assignments, again, you still need to check in with people and have those
Right.
checks and balances with them to make sure we're still on task and on target, or to find out like maybe if they have some questions because maybe the instructions weren't clear enough or they've run into a hiccup, and maybe they need some new direction or some new guidance. But I have come to realize those things are not inherent.
Yeah.
They're not a given. They're not inherent, and apparently they're not being taught in whether it's high school or in college.
Yeah, that's true. And everybody just doesn't really have that personality that's gonna like herd everyone, like that some people just have that personality. Okay, we're gonna have a Thursday tag up, at 9 a.m. and we're gonna go around and see, where everyone is, on the project. And I mean, everybody just
Hmm.
doesn't do that. And that's really what you need, because we all know, when you have that 9 a.m. tag up, oh, I was supposed to have gotten that done last week. I better get this done real quick. Because you've got to answer to somebody about, what you
Yep.
got done, Oh yeah, I got it all
Or
wrapped up.
yep, you have to report out. And it helps create a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so you I think that alone even would be an improvement. And
Hmm.
again, something else that helps to stand you apart from others. It's something that if you're in an interview, you'll be able to speak to, because it's going to display a couple different skills that most any job's going to look for. They're going to look for your ability to be organized. They're going to look for your leadership skills and ability. And so you will be able, and your ability to plan and think
Right.
forward. And so there's so many opportunities for you to be able to shine and demonstrate those skills and abilities that are necessary for success, I think, in any realm, in
Yeah.
any workplace.
Yep. So true.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
It's really, it can be challenging, and I think with so many people it is just the fear of the unknown. I
Yeah.
really do. Think it's the fear of the unknown. And
Mhm.
um, you know, you got to look at life as an adventure, and there's new things for us to learn every day, that to move our lives forward, and that's kind of what this is about.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the conversation. I feel sad, because I'm like, man, I mean, there are things you can do to, prepare your child to be automation proof, and for us as people to be automation proof, but it was just the kind of what can you do attitude. I was just kind of like, wow, you know.
Yeah. And I feel like, again, I just feel like so many people are going to be left behind as well
Yeah.
because people aren't looking realistically. Like, I think there's some people, believe it or not, their head is in the sand. Like, they don't understand the economy that we're in
Right.
and
Now
that
that's
things
true too. Yeah.
change. Because I will tell you, like, that I just had, if you heard the little jingle, sale it's 7 o'clock where I am. It's almost 7:30. And that was probably a sales call, potential spam. In addition to this late in the evening, in addition to that, like I had someone literally just put themselves on my calendar today. That, I'd canceled a meeting. I met with them a few months back. Like I know what you do. I got you. If I have somebody that needs your services, like I know where to get you. But you don't need to clog up my calendar, right? You don't need to, like come try to meet again. Like I'm good. I got you. I got your contact info. But what I'm saying is desperation that is really reinforcing again from my own studies, my own looking at the market and projections around, truly where we are sitting as an economy, because now I'm starting to see it play out in human behavior.
Yeah.
So, but it also is astonishing to me because I also have seen some individuals for whom it's like they haven't a clue.
Hmm.
It's like they're just so oblivious to what is going on. And, and you don't see them preparing the critical thinking, thinking about the future,
Yeah.
nesting, getting ready for,
Right.
okay, like if there is a further shift, to make sure that they're good. And that's alarming to me. It's
Yeah. That's
crazy.
true. Yeah. That's true. I agree. Um,
Mhm.
I think some people are just really lost with all that's going on, and what I find kind of sad is how many people just get caught up in the crisis of the day, and they're really not working on the things that they need to be working on to specifically move their lives forward. They're just so caught up on the crisis of the day, and it's something every day to get, wrapped up in and in a huff about and, up in arms on. But man, how does that move your life forward, your goals forward, And I don't know. I mean, we have limited bandwidth every day. I mean, it's only so many hours in the day. You only have so much energy for each day. And I
Mhm.
just can't spend a second on it on stuff that's not moving my life forward, you
No,
know?
I'm telling you. And I really do feel like time is like we're in like lightning speed,
Yeah.
serious. Because I think I was sharing with you, like for a while, I felt like each day has felt like a week.
Yeah.
And again, and I think this speaks to the technology and what we're able to
Yeah,
accomplish.
it
Right.
is. Yep.
But now I've shifted to over the last few weeks where each day literally feels like a month. I opened my eyes this morning and did not know what day it was.
Hmm.
Right? Because I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, is today two? Oh my God, it's only Tuesday?
Yeah.
And then I started thinking back on, like, oh yeah, because like last month we had this week. No, yes, that was yesterday. But we're again accomplishing things at
Yeah.
lightning speed that again, so you think about the people that are operating, similar to me, and then there's some individuals, and I understand why that is because I've changed my focus and even like who I look to as mentors and things like that, and they're moving even further, even
Yep.
faster and
Even
furious.
faster. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so for that person that's stagnant or just moseying along, how long are we going to be before they're like years behind.
Well, and I even talked to my son about this too. I mean, it's like to me, in some ways, it's already that way because when you speak to some of the people, they really just don't understand what you're even talking about.
Hmm.
I mean, it's getting, it's
Yeah,
getting to be that far apart already, right? They don't even really understand
yeah.
what you're talking about.
I'm telling you. I am telling you. Like, there's so much. And I think that, again, like, hate them or love them, like, even with our political system, a lot of people are shook because they haven't seen the speed. They haven't seen things occur in the speed with our government, right?
Oh yeah.
But it is because they're modeling, because some of the individuals now in leadership are business people. So they brought that business mentality to government now.
Right.
And you have to deliver. It's about the bottom line, it's about the numbers. They understand when you show up to a meeting, like you got to report out. What have
Right.
you done for me lately? What's on the horizon? What do we have next up? And so again, the people that are still like on that, like fighting it and like, whoa, 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 like, because usually like we need to meet like 12 times. This should be like a 3-month process, and then some of the stuff is getting done in like a week's time, right? Um, and it has some people shook. And but I feel like for the people that are like on that trajectory and understand what it is, I feel like, I don't know if that has prompted us to, because we see all these things changing, right? And again, regardless of where you sit on the, political spectrum, just if you're a business person and you're watching the markets, you don't, again, we don't care about that, the red or the blue, because you understand like you can make money
That's
and be
it.
successful regardless.
Opportunities, right? There's opportunities in all economies.
You have to understand the trends and where things are
Yep.
heading. And then you can begin to take it a step further and forecast. And that's where you begin to be able to reap in profits,
Yep.
because you're able to forecast and get ahead of things and, get into things early enough, where people say, well, how did you know to invest in that? How did you know to buy that? Um, because you're able to
Yep.
forecast.
You understand trends. Yep.
Yeah.
Industry trends.
Yeah. And so it's interesting to me because, like I said, I know for myself, like I sometimes reflect back on what we've delivered and what we've accomplished. And, but I see people that are doing it a lot heavier than me, like a lot, they're moving at such a speed that, yeah, that is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
Um, I just think that understanding AI and just starting to like you said, just kind of play with it in your personal life and seeing how it can help you, you know your personal life in general,
Mhm.
understanding, learning how to prompt it correctly and things like that to be able to get your results.
And
um,
that's key. And that's where the critical thinking comes into play. And I think that's where some people who don't have good experiences with AI or with ChatGPT specifically, because again, garbage in, garbage out, right? So you have to, it forces you, if you want to get good information that you truly can use, you're going to have to go through maybe a couple different iterations to get what you really want, right? If you want something just basic, yeah, you can maybe in 1 or 2 tries. But I know for me, it like forces me, I have to go back and look at my prompt and like re-prompt or tweak something. Um, it forces me to get better at how I ask questions,
mhm.
how I instruct. And so I even think that again, because some people have said, I've listened to them say, oh, it's dumbing us down. it's elevated me. Like it's made
Yeah,
me sharper, being able to have that technology, it has made me sharper.
yeah,
And so again, like I don't know, like I guess it's vantage point and maybe and how they're using, the technology. But again, you still have to double check, you have to have checks and balances because everything that, you get out of it may not be completely accurate. But I think it's a great tool and resource
hmm
you need to learn and you need to have in your toolkit.
yeah. And I mean, that's becoming a whole new career. Is learning prompt engineering. So
Hmm.
they have new certifications on prompt engineering and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's something that's come out of AI.
No,
So
definitely. Definitely. And I mean, there's just so much that, like, again, just don't get left behind, guys. Especially, like, if my family sees this, like, for real. Like, no, I'm serious because even like I've been talking like for months, right, for the past year about Web3. Like there's already people that are transacting doing their contracts on Web3 because they understand like it's a much secure platform, like on the blockchain and things. Like people are buying houses, and so they're cutting that time. I think we're gonna see other processes.
oh yeah. Yeah,
Even
blockchain technology has really changed the game, like with banking, with logistics. Yeah.
even like from government processes, I think we'll see
hmm
some stuff like trademarking and stuff. Like you're gonna see where things that used to take because you're a lawyer or my attorney, look, at least with trademarking kind of prompted me. Oh, this could take like 9 months, right? But I'm telling you, in the next year, I think more than half. Like that stuff probably you'll be able to get some of this stuff done within a week or so. And again, it's going to also provide the other securities where people have been able to hack or like scammers have been able to
Yeah.
come in and like um do nefarious things, especially like with these businesses and LLCs.
Yeah.
Like there's a young lady um who was in Florida, and basically she was with a guy. I guess I should just say because people will know the names. Look, if you go watch Tasha K, look from like last year, the year before, and the guy that Coach Stormy used to be with, um, he allegedly is a con artist, and she's not
Oh,
with him anymore, thank God. Um, but actually his children's mother, she was being interviewed and she was sharing how she had like this juice bar. He was able to go and establish an LLC, change like just one letter in the name. But by doing that and having that established in his name, although she already had hers established, he like mirrored her entity. And again, keep in mind, this is someone, she says, children with living together, so he has access to all her stuff. He was able to steal that business up from under her.
oh wow.
And so that's why, like, things like that have taken place and occurred, um, like with the blockchain, because again, everything is date and time stamped, right? There's this long,
Yeah.
all these numbers. Like, whenever like if you're sending money and stuff, like I would watch and, because I would transfer, like when I was doing Forex, like I would have to convert money to crypto, send it,
Right.
to fund my account or whatever. And so like I would, you'd watch it like through the different steps. Like you'd be able to
Right.
see where it is and it'd be this long number, I didn't know what it was. But now, like I know like on the black blockchain, you can kind of track,
Yeah.
you can use those numbers to really track where your stuff is. And so I think again, like with these legal documents, setting up entities like LLCs, the trade market and things like that, like it's going to help eliminate a lot of, the nefarious activity, and like where you hear people being able to steal things from up under you and things like that. And so I think it's important for it to come into play.
Yeah.
But again, it is going to be a different way of operating and a different way of working, a different way of doing business. And for the people that have not dibbled and dabbled at all in any of this, it's going to seem scary.
Yeah.
It's going to seem painful. Like I remember when I first got introduced to like the cryptos and just having trying to set up the wallets and things like
Yeah.
that and different accounts. Like I almost cried. Like I was like,
It was a lot back in the day.
no, yeah, because back then, like it wasn't, didn't have people on YouTube talking as much
Yeah,
about it.
it was a mess back in the day. Said no
Yeah,
life.
and so now it's like, oh, okay, it's
Yeah, it's
just
no big deal now, but yeah, in the beginning it was rough.
no, it was. It just and it seemed like, why am I doing this? Like, why am
Yeah.
I, or why do I have to stand and take a picture of? I feel like I was having,
Yeah, all this in your license and all this, and
yeah,
yeah, it was crazy.
like yeah, and so and
Yeah.
now that seems normal, and I understand why, right? Because now we even have technologies. I have one of my people. She actually, I got to read what she looked into, but um, where basically we would be able to model me, and I could just have her create videos. So I won't even have to talk on these videos anymore. Like she could go into Chat GPT, go to our GPT for the business to give it a topic. I want you to create a script, upload it. It'll have my likeness and image and create a whole video as if it's me recording it with my voice and everything and like with my movements and actions. And that
Wow.
is scary,
Yeah,
right?
that is.
Because some people like, again, the video, right? Because that's their verifier that it's a real person. But now, if you're going to be able to create somebody's likeness and image using AI technology,
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, it could
yeah,
be used to get to the wrong hands. That's what a lot of people worry about. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like with everything, there's a positive,
It
and then
is.
people that seek to do nefarious things, they always find a negative way to utilize things. And so, again, you're always going to have that. But I think that's even more of an argument for you to learn the technology so
Yeah.
that you be more
So you can
keen.
protect yourself.
Yeah, and you're able to like pick up and know, like this isn't accurate, right? Like the I keep getting these emails from Xfinity that my payment is late or my payment didn't go through. Well, I ended my Xfinity last year, right? So I know when I see those emails, it's fake.
Yeah.
It's a scam, a con artist, right? But also if I open it and look closer, I can see like there's one little dot or one little eye or something, extra eye or something,
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
lets you know that it's one of these scam accounts, right? Not to click on it. But again, like these people are getting they're trying to get so sophisticated with this technology. You're like, oh my goodness, like they can
Mm-hmm.
catch you up so bad,
Yep.
if you're not careful.
Yep.
So you gotta
That's
be
so
on
true.
your P's and Q's.
Yep.
You
So
really,
true.
now that I've also found where you can take like a picture and automate a photo,
Yeah.
man, mm-mm-mm, and have it doing some things like, yeah, you just have to be careful.
Yeah.
You just have to be careful out there. So now again, like I don't want to say skeptical, but again, I look a little bit deeper. I don't take everything on surface level.
Right.
And even like again for with my field, right, especially if I'm doing an investigation, like again, technology helps, right?
Yep.
Because if I'm doing an investigation and maybe somebody gives me some false documents, like I'm better able to pick out that, oh, this has been altered, like this isn't,
Right. Mm-hmm.
yeah, this has been altered. Or if somebody doesn't give you some information, like I have ways to be able to get around that. And now, look, don't even play with me because look, I have somebody in my network now He is bad, honey. His whole job is like he can basically find anybody in the world for you.
Wow.
Yeah, like he's like my ex was nice with being able to hack into stuff and like companies hire their company to troubleshoot things or check. No, this guy is, I think he's a little bit more advanced, but he like works with, I think I may see if I can interview him on my Lamborghini C channel.
Oh, that sounds cool.
But especially with me engaging and hiring people, it was the perfect time with me hiring people globally, because you just never know. Thank God,
Yeah.
myself and my clients haven't ever experienced anything, but I've heard horror stories. The
Yeah.
plug to the HR Whisperer for your VA services. But yeah, my business coach was sharing with me about a client that had a VA who stole $20,000 from her. At
Oh,
this,
wow.
and then she was very clever in the way she did it. But again, like that's you still gotta be on top of things and watch
Yeah.
what people are doing. But you know, but now I got somebody that can locate that person, and hopefully get your money back. Who works with some larger organizations and nonprofits. Hire him. Like he was sharing about a case they were working on now currently with a nonprofit that the individual stole significant amount of money and now has disappeared.
Wow.
He's tracked them down. He's been shutting down his crypto wallets.
Oh, okay.
So like, that's how you living, right? So now, you're gonna force them to come back to light because again, like in the early days, like if you were in crypto, you understood again it was a way to get off the grid, and some people were using it for that way and what have you. But if you have somebody that can still track you down and find you, and then like be able to intercept and like close your wallets and stuff,
Yep.
and that's
Done
a
deal.
man. I said that's a bad man right there.
Yep.
But because you never know, right?
No,
And
you don't.
yeah, and these are things that shift, right? Because you think the way of policing, right?
Hmm.
Because again, the day of old, right, where crimes were committed just kind of in person, like somebody sticking a gun to you, and Dame Dash, like I remember years ago, he said something, he was saying, a man can steal more from me with a swipe of a pen than he can with a gun to my back. But now it's not even the swipe of a pen. Now it's electronic.
Hmm.
It's still even more,
That's right.
right? And so, you need people that are skilled in that world, in the
Right.
blockchain, that can be able to circumvent, hack into like these different systems to be able to, again, like if an organization needs to recoup funds or if they need to track down like these hackers that have been nearly shutting down some of these organizations.
Yeah.
And this stuff is happening. Like everything does not hit the news. Like I tell people, I don't even watch the news anymore because
Yeah.
half of what we see, I'm gonna sound like somebody else, but half of what we see is not even real.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. But everybody, again, when you were being warned because of the messenger, people didn't believe it. They made fun of it. But again,
Yeah.
because I've well traveled, and I would just peep like when I'm sitting in the airport in a different country, or over in another country, if a television's on and I'm watching, like it would always stand out to me like it would be different news. Like
Oh,
it would be
yeah.
reported.
Yeah. Yeah. The more well traveled you become, the more you understand
Hmm.
that news. Yeah. That's so true.
No, for sure. And so, so like I said, some of these companies, because I know of companies that like have had systems shut down, And usually, again, if they can help it, you don't want to have like an announcement, right? Because those are things that can affect your stock.
Yeah.
It can create hysteria.
Market share, yeah. Stock price, yep.
But I know some organizations have had to go borrow money from the bank to even be able to make payroll because their stuff was hacked
Mm-hmm.
and they were it was a ransom situation and they were trying to figure out what they were going to do. But in the meantime, they needed to pay the employees. Plus, they were
Right.
trying to keep things a little bit calm and not kind of let it get out that hey, we might be in trouble here.
Right.
Found a way to literally shut down our whole systems where we
Mm-hmm.
can't work. And so, so the world is changing.
It
So
is.
like I said, even with the policing, I think they're going to have to increase their skill set, right? And learn some of this technology to be able to implement that into some of their, detective work and things
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. So
Yeah.
no, it's an interesting world that we live
Yeah.
in.
Yep.
But
Awesome topic. Been an awesome topic tonight.
yeah, so key takeaways for individuals or the American worker to protect themselves against AI.
Look, watch your thinking. What are you thinking about? Again, solution based thinking versus problem based thinking, growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and stop being fearful of AI. Embrace it and learn it.
Absolutely. I think that is awesome. And learn those soft skills and project management.
Yep.
Yep. Even if you have to pay to
Yep.
learn and apply, don't just take a course. So, because I know
Yeah.
like with engineers, you can take your PIMP course, your PMP. That's what some of them would call.
Not him.
Be like, I got my PIMP certification for the PMP.
Yeah.
It's,
Not
it,
him.
it's something project management.
No, I know everybody's got it. I knew exactly what you're talking about. Not, I've never heard of it called PM though. I'm like,
Yeah,
not PM.
engineers refer to it that way. But then you have to apply it. So
Yeah, you
good
do.
job on getting your certification. But then again, leverage, and those are opportunities. So from a career coaching,
Right.
um, go to your boss, let them know you just got that certification, and I'm looking for opportunities to
Stretch
apply
assignments, etc. to
this.
use it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. And so, because again, you want to really hone that craft,
Yep.
but this is also going to help you because then they're going to get to see like you have this additional skill set. Hopefully, you do well with it, and then even just the initiative, like that's encouraging. I think for a manager to see like, wow,
Yep.
he went on his own and got this, or she went on her own and got this,
Hmm.
and she came to me and asked me. Like, it wasn't just me assigning work, you
Yeah.
know. So, implement those little things and use them to your advantage.
So true.
Yeah. Do you have, let me ask you, do you have any things on the horizon? Anything coming up?
Yeah, lots of things on the horizon. I'm gonna kind of dig a little deeper into that, and we'll have some stuff coming up here pretty soon. So I'm
Oh,
excited about it. Yep.
all right. And guys, check out the Lamborghini C channel. We have new content. I think we got something scheduled that's coming out this week. I can't recall the topic off the top of my mind because that's how I think I recorded it last week and scheduled it to go on. And again, that's technology, right? Because you used to have to do this stuff live in real
Yeah.
time,
It's
but
it's really awesome.
record a couple episodes and schedule them
Yep.
to release. Um, Also, look, I've been pushing my book today. I've been working a case for cultural competence in business. Um, and this came up because someone asked my opinion around the whole DEI conversation,
Hmm.
and you know, with some of the nonprofits and how they should handle things. And again, some of the thinking I think was a little bit behind the curve because I'm like, they should already be on this if they are getting government funding. Because I think we all get the memo that, like, if you have, if you're getting government funding, the pretty much you need to remove all that language from your
Yeah.
literature, right? So still having this conversation. Like you want your money to get stopped and then be on the news crying, right? You got the memo. But as I was explaining to this individual, about 4 years ago, I transitioned away from DEI into cultural competence. And I wrote that book I think it's been like 2 years now, about 2 years ago. Because it is most cultural competence is mostly practiced in healthcare, but so it's a case for cultural competence in business because I think there is a case to implement it in the business world. Well, actually, I have been implementing it in the business world and it's been effective. But so if you care about having a culturally competent workforce that's able to work across lines, across countries, across cultures, I think that it's something that you need to explore. But as it relates to, your business or your nonprofit, if you are receiving those government funds, the memo came out, like you need to be updating your policies. You need to update like any literature and
Right.
things you have on your website. So just an FYI there, guys. Um, and maybe I don't know if I need to do another. I think I talked about that like a few months ago, like when it first occurred. I did like a DEI show over on the Lamborghini C channel. But no, if you want to reach out to us, hrblunders@gmail.com. We want your questions. At some point, it would be awesome to be able to have people come up on the platform, and share some experiences.
Yeah.
Um,
Really cool.
'Cause I think that could be really, really fun.
Hmm. Me
Um,
too.
we might even be able to have you keep your camera off if you don't want to be identified.
Yeah.
Um, you can change your screen name so that you can be anonymous. But I think that would be cool, especially
Yeah.
to be able to understand and hear like some of the things that are going on like today and things that people are experiencing. I know I've been hearing some tough stories. Like
Yeah.
I know it's been tough for some people, right? But again, I think keep your head out of the weeds. Try to stay on the positive. Um, Look for, and try to stay in the mindset of being actionable and proactive.
Yeah.
And I think that you'll be okay. I think
Me
you'll be
too.
on the right path.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, guys. Thanks for another
Yes.
episode of HR Blunders. We'll be back in a couple weeks.
That's it. See you
All
next
right.
time.
Bye.
Bye.